Timmy kicked the ball, but no one cared. He had just kicked it on a patch of grass and it didn't really mean anything. But then John and Aaron had an idea. They were going to place down their jumpers, one on the left, one on the right. Timmy then kicked the ball again, in between the jumpers, and screamed, "Go!"
Timmy!
He celebrated, running off, fist pumping in the air. What these boys just did was create a goal. And it's far more of a profound act than you realise. I'm going to show you why. By placing down their jumpers, what they did was change their values. Now, before there was no goal, no value, but now they valued getting the ball in between jumpers. Through changing that, they changed how they responded to the world. Through that, they changed how their neurochemicals fired in their brain. They changed their behaviours, and ultimately, they changed their reality. Now, this may sound like a bold claim, but it's very simple and its implications cannot be understated. You see, by placing down their jumpers, this simple act of kicking the ball was no longer a neutral action. It actually gained valence. It was a positive act, one that made you feel good as long as you kicked the ball in the right place. And of course it made you feel worse when you missed.
I just had enough.
Therefore, in this act of creating a goal, the boys created a system where their emotional state depended on their ability to reach that goal. And reach a goal, we produce neurochemical changes in our brain. Dopamine and serotonin shoot out of our receptors to signal motivation, pain and pleasure, our happiness in our relationships, and meaning in life. This can all be tied to our goals. So goals are pretty important. We have goals each day and they guide our behaviour. Right now my goal is to do this recording and your goal is to listen. Then my goal is to finish the video, finish making the video, and your goal is to finish watching the video. That is so I can become smarter or more articulate, or you can learn something. These goals maybe will build into a larger goal of having more respect for myself as a smart and intelligent person. You really could continue with this chain forever. Motivation to do anything is driven by our goals. They're one of the most important things in our lives. In fact, here's another fact about goals. You can perceive your reality based on what corresponds to a goal. Breaking that down, you can look at the concept of your confirmation bias. This is where you take in information that fits your worldview and ignore information that challenges it. And it turns out this confirmation bias exists in relation to your goals. And you can see this very obviously in politics. I have my political party, the Red Team, and whenever they do anything wrong, I kind of ignore it. Whenever they do anything right, I celebrate it. Whenever the Blue Team does anything wrong, I pounce on it. What I'm doing is I'm taking in information that confirms my version of reality and also fits in with my goal. If I suddenly became skeptical of the Red Team, I might start looking for information that shows maybe the Red Team aren't so good. So therefore it's my goal that guides what information I take in. Now I'm going to talk about an extremely important topic where setting goals can actually change your enjoyment of your life and of your day. This is talking about anxiety. When you're anxious, you have the goal to get people to like you. You look for signals that they like you and use that as a sign things are going well. You also look for signals they do not like you and use that as a sign things are not going well. This affects how happy you feel. The goal you set, getting people to like you, is influence in your well-being. So anxiety isn't just randomly appearing. You decided your goal was to get people to like you. A problem like anxiety is deep-rooted. I can't just switch off. Nor can you. And it's true in practice. You can't just switch off anxiety and reroute your values. You can't just pretend you don't care. These goals are so deep in our systems that they're literally in our brain circuitry. Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together, wire together. If you use these connections more, they will physically exist. But if you step back and look at the goal theory of this, there is another way, because if you had a different value of how the world works, if you valued the world in a different way, you value different goals, everything would be fine. It is something you can develop. It is something you can develop by becoming cognizant of it, by becoming aware of it. You can recognize that you are the one creating your own anxiety. Now, this is no easy feat, don't get me wrong. But what you must do is replace your object as your focus with something else. What is a more important cause than having people like me? Perhaps you could say the level I'm willing to be myself. Maybe that's an indicator of success. Okay, being myself sounds great in theory, but who even really am I? I don't actually know. And you don't know either. You've followed all these different values for such a long time. You've acted on things that aren't your values, but the values of society, of other people, of your parents. It's hard to really know who you are, past all the program. Oftentimes we don't meet our own needs, and we put the needs of others above ourselves. Why? Is it because the goal is to get the approval of others, perhaps? Now, this again sounds like a simple solution. Okay, sure, be authentic. And as I've already mentioned, it's not so easy to be authentic. But let me tell you one thing. One truth about authenticity. If we are authentic, it will mean dropping a lot of things. It will mean maybe leaving a job. It will mean disappointing people. Being authentic isn't an easy thing. It might sound like, yeah, sure, I'll just be authentic. But have you really tried to be authentic? Have you tried to speak up even when your voice shakes? Have you tried to do things that you feel terrible, fearful, but push on anyway? Because you wanna do it. That's the question. So, football and reality. Setting our goals. Your goals you set affect your neurons, your neurochemicals. They affect how you treat others. They affect how you view yourself. They affect your well-being. Change your goals and you change your reality.